Hey everyone, Kim here, and today I want to talk to you about something I run into quite a bit, and that's downsizing. Moving items, letting go of those household things that you don't want any longer, the valued treasures that are family heirlooms, and moving some of these along to somebody who might want them. So let's get into that. I want to look at this today from two different perspectives, too. So there's the perspective of the person who's selling the item, the emotions, the memories, and how their perception differs on the value of the item from the second person that we're talking about, and that's the person buying it. Generally, when it's a reseller like us or like me, where we have to buy at a price that still allows us to make a profit, because it's our job, this is how we make our paycheck, then our perspectives are not necessarily the same. So how do we come together on this? So I met a couple recently while I was buying some china and some glassware from them. And we had a really good conversation, and it reminded me to talk about this a little bit more, but also to be careful with emotions and to make sure that you're addressing those with the product owner when you're talking about the products. People get really attached to their products. These are objects that have lived in their household for a long time, or maybe grandma owned it. Maybe it was in Aunt Edna's house. And every time you went over there, it was something that just sparked a memory for you. So these objects, these collections, especially have memories tied to them. In many, many cases, it makes sense to display part of it, to keep part of it. But often what happens is these little objects that are memory triggers, they create complications in your life. They become a little bit of a burden. So when we talk about these objects, the collections, the glass, the china, the grandma's china cabinet that was full of everything. I know people still who are upset that they didn't inherit some china. I know others who are like, I don't want any china and I've got it. What do I do with it? So a lot of times these are passed down from generation to generation, and the person that gets it doesn't want it. The kids, the grandkids, whatever, they don't want these items. Other family members, though, will want to guilt them into keeping them. They will talk about how valuable they are. They will tell them that it's been in the family forever. Their goal is to guilt them into keeping it so that it stays in the family, but they themselves don't have to deal with it. But really, when push comes to shove and nobody actually wants to take it and you end up with it, what do you do with it? Do you keep it? The owner of the item that has it now is left with a lot of guilt. It's a burden. It's stuff they don't want, and they feel really bad for letting it go. It's almost like the collection has now become something that's no longer fun. It's no longer enjoyable. What do you do with it? So when you have these people who are trying to guilt you and they're telling you that this is so valuable and worth so much money, here's a reality check. The truth is that most of these collections are not going to pay for somebody to go to college. They're not going to refund your retirement. Values go up and they go down over the year. The market, the cultures, trends, they all make a difference. Right now, as I'm making this video today, I spoke to someone yesterday and they asked about Rosenthal china. You know what? Rosenthal china is doing very well right now in certain patterns, but we have other china patterns and other china of brands of the past that are not doing as well. Fiesta ware, for example, if you don't know it, Fiesta still manufactures Fiesta ware. So the vintage Fiesta ware does not command the prices that it did 20 years ago. However, it might again one day. Right now, that's not the case because people can buy the new stuff and it's retro. So why do you have to buy the old vintage? You don't need to. You can do what you need to stock up on your items that are your Fiesta ware. That's just an example of what happens with it. But really what happens with your collection and with the collections that you're buying from people is at the end of the day, something's only worth what someone is willing to pay for it. And we all know that. If no one wants that china pattern, if nobody wants Aunt Martha's bowl that she brought to every family picnic with her famous salad in it, if nobody wants the figurine that lived on the shelf in grandma's house, then it's just clutter sitting in a house, sitting in your home. Maybe it's not even sitting in your home. Maybe it's packed up and in a box in the attic or in the basement. So how do you kindly, as a reseller, get the owner to see this? Or if you are the owner, how do we, as the owner, get past this? And honestly, it's not always easy. And sometimes it's not even possible. Some people just won't let things go. They have to keep them. They will literally die and leave it to somebody else to deal with. Even if it's boxed up and in the attic, at least then they could say that they took care of it. They didn't. And I'm not here to make you feel guilty, but the fact is that if your heirlooms are boxed up and in the attic or in the basement, you're not taking care of them. All you're doing is hoarding them. You're keeping them so that somebody else can deal with them in the future. If you never get them out, if you never enjoy them, if you never take your toys out and play with them, then you are not enjoying them and you are not taking care of them. You are simply somebody who is storing them. So let's talk about answers. How do we get there? Well, one of my favorite sayings in the entire world is, you do you, boo-boo. I am really big on you do you, boo-boo. You do what's best for you. I cannot make your decision for you. But when I work with estate clients and when I work with people who I am buying collections from, I like to remind them that they have to be okay with letting it go. I do not do consignment simply because of emotions. I only buy collections or I come in and I do estate sales for you. Leaving these boxed up isn't doing anybody any favors. So you do you, boo-boo. You decide. You decide what is the best thing for it. Should you pass it on? Should you get it into the hands of somebody else? As a reseller, I'm going to tell you, my job is to take care of it until I find the person who wants to buy it, to take care of it, and to love it, and to display it, and put it out, and use it. And sometimes that goes into a loving home. You know, sometimes we sell to prop companies, and it might end up in a TV show. You never know. It might go to a movie producer and be in a movie. It might be the part of a setting in some sort of a historic layout somewhere. Or it might go to a nursing home where somebody that lives there needed some little reminder of something from their past. There are all sorts of places that these things go. But the point is that the person that buys it from me is the person that is going to make sure that it's cared for. They're the person that's going to give it a new home, that's going to take care of it, that's going to put it back into use. They're not going to box it up and put it in an attic. They didn't spend money to buy it from me for that purpose. So when you're talking to these estate clients, one of the things that has to be understood, and if you are somebody who's selling a collection, one of the things that you have to understand is we're not going to buy from you at retail. It's not happening. We have to make money. Again, this is our job. This is our paycheck. And the other part of that is we might sit on inventory. So if you are selling a collection and you want to make eBay prices, my other favorite saying is if you want eBay prices, do eBay work. You can sell it on eBay yourself and you can do the work and you can sell it and make the money from selling it on eBay. But you have to remember the work that goes into that. It means doing the research. It means figuring out the price. It means storing it until it sells. It could sell in a week. It could sell in a year. You really don't know. But once it does sell, then you have to be able to box it up properly and get it to the post office and get a label on it and buy the shipping and do everything that needs to get it into the hands of the person that is buying it. You also need to make sure that you have the places to sell it because not everything can be sold on eBay. We offer a lot of different ways that we sell items. We do estate sales. We do some in-person selling. We have a booth, a couple of booths in antique malls. We offer items on eBay. We also sell on Etsy. We have our own website, backroadpicking.com, which is where you're seeing many of our blogs and, of course, our YouTube channel. So there's a lot of different ways and different things that go into selling if you're somebody who wants to sell. If you're going to sell to a reseller, you have to find somebody who's going to be fair with you and give you a decent price. But you also have to understand that you're not going to get retail. And if you're looking those prices up on eBay and trying to figure out what the retail price is, you're probably looking at prices of items where the price is the item that somebody wants to sell it for. That doesn't mean it's the price that it's sold for. As a reseller and somebody who sells on eBay and Etsy a lot and on our website, and has in-person sales. Now, our in-person items generally sell for what they're marked at, but when we're selling on eBay and on Etsy, on backroadpicking.com, we entertain offers. So if something's listed and say we've got it up there for $100, we may accept an offer for $82. Probably not, but we might accept an offer for, less. Generally, we will accept offers for anywhere from 10 to 15% off. So the prices you're looking at retail are not necessarily the prices that are out there that they're getting. If you are the reseller buying from them, you've got to convince them how to sell this to you at a reasonable price. And honestly, if they really don't want to sell, then give them other options. If you're watching this and you don't want to sell your collection, donate it to your local church. Donate it to a local thrift store. Find your community thrift store. Don't give it to Goodwill. Don't give it to Salvation Army. Salvation Army is a little bit better than Goodwill. But find your community thrift store, because a lot of smaller communities especially have community thrift stores, and that money goes directly back into your local community. Generally they're selling just like we do, and people like me go in there and buy things, but they also have some items, especially clothing and general household items, that they allow people who are just getting started from something and setting up a home to pick different items. They'll have vouchers and they can come in and get items. So that's an option. That's something that you can do to alleviate your guilt of selling it to a reseller. But if you want to make money off of it, sell it. By all means, sell it. Don't let people guilt you into having to keep something that you don't want to keep. Just remember, at the end of the day, this is your house. This is your taste. It's your life. I think it's a good idea to keep some items that are passed down. I am a big believer in keeping furniture wherever possible, because furniture from 100 years ago is nothing like furniture of today. It's generally solid wood. It's well made. If you're going to go buy a table that is built like something from 100 years ago, you're probably going to spend $5,000 on that table. So if it's passed down to you, maybe it's not a terrible thing to keep. I do love old furniture. I am not stupid enough to believe that I can keep all of it in my house. I know I can't. So, we do pass that along as well. But again, this is your house. It's your life. You don't have to carry the weight of the stuff that doesn't serve you anymore. You do you, boo-boo. So thanks for hanging out with me today. If you like conversations like this about reselling, vintage treasures, collections, how to deal with them, and if you've got one to sell, reach out. I'll be happy to talk to you about buying it. But if you like these things, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're following me, and check out all of our social media platforms, and share this video. And I'll see you on the back road. Bye.